Welcome back. We are absolutely delighted, to say the least, to welcome back one of our favorites, Alan Committee, one of South Africa's also leading lights in comedy. He is incredibly funny and such a gent as well, known, of course, for his rather sharp wit and energetic performances. He is set to entertain audiences once again with his brand new show, Alan Committee in Fast and Reasonably Furious. It premiered last night, and we can't wait to find out what the response was like. Alan, lekker to have you, my friend.
Always a pleasure, always a delight. It's nice that there's three of us here. It's like a little mini boy band, isn't it? This is no direction.
No direction whatsoever.
Man, it's good to be back. Great. Listen, we've actually been running for a while.
Really?
This run started before Christmas. We started quite late. But now we're into the kind of new year, and it needs that little boost because people have gone back. The city's slowly emptying for the first time since 8 weeks. This is the first time I've come out of my house. Out of your shell.
No, my little girl said that the other day. She's like, everyone looks like zombie.
We are.
I was like, yeah, no, that's
living dead.
That's called reality sinking back in.
Right, you know? Back in.
You ended the year on a bang, and I'm guessing you're going to start this one with that same kind of energy. How are you doing, first of all, at the start of 2024, my brother?
Strong. Still got a bit of post-festive vibe, which is good, just enough to get me through to Jan 27, and then I'll have to find some new impulse. But really good, and as I said, we started the show, Fast and Reasonably Furious, now my 26th solo one-man show.
Wow.
And we had the most extraordinary end to the year, which was just amazing, and still wonderful responses from Cape Townians and still a few foreigners left in the city, those up country. The city was too full at one point. I don't know if you felt that.
It was to capacity.
100%.
Sure.
And now to just release into back to school and a little bit of Fed madness as it lies ahead, we're having a blast at Theatre in the Bay, which is one of the most beautiful theatres in the country.
Yeah,
and it's your home, and we love it.
It is my second home, to be fair. Yeah, loving it.
Love it.
Listen, chat to us about the show, for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Fast and Reasonably Furious.
So I'm a fan of the franchise, are you?
For sure.
For sure.
Because you and Vin Diesel look almost identical.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
It's me, Vin Diesel, and Dale and Oliver, essentially, the same people. Vin Diesel and Paul Walker were the two who started the franchise all those years ago, which is weird, because if you think Diesel and Walker, that's the opposite of Fast and Furious. If anything, it should have been pedestrian and placid. But I take that as a starting point, the madness of those movies, how it's about fast cars and kind of furious, speeded up vehicles. And then I apply it to kind of everyday life, how 2023 for most of us was too fast and too furious.
It was crazy.
And then we look at all the stories, because I'm a big fan of, I'm a storyteller as a comedian, as a producer, as a writer. But I also believe we all have stories. Everybody wants to be seen and heard. And so we look at all the big stories. The Rugby World Cup, I mean, you were chatting earlier to Eben. I look at actually the difference between the Springboks and the Proteas cricket side. Because you know the Springboks, there were 31,000 people who met them at OR Tambo on their arrival. For the cricketers, there were people who had flight schedules who didn't even turn up for fear that anyone thought they were a cricket supporter. I know, and that's no good. So I unpack that on my trusty flip chart. Plus, we look at all the big stories. Sign language becoming a 12th language last year.
Yes,
brilliant.
Big news.
That was a big one.
I talk about, well, essentially everything from traffic and right through to growing 50, because that's my big story. I turned 50 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I know. I feel the same.
And congrats,
Very
man.
kind.
You don't look it at all.
Well, say that again on camera, and I wanted to prove.
And we put it on YouTube afterwards, and then you can make it go viral.
That's all I want.
It'll be
I'm now so old, I'm starting to take advice from myself. That's not good.
But can you trust the advice you get from yourself?
I turn it down almost immediately. I also now, you two both are fit young men, which is tremendous.
Thank you for saying
When I run, I now realize I run slower than when I walk. I make the shape of running, but the effect is very much of walking.
Now, listen, the conservation of energy is vital at our age.
100%.
You've got to just manage your set quota of...
Yeah. I mean, I've seated now for the rest of the day. I'm not moving. This is it. I'm here for the rest of the show.
And you can have it. It's a lovely couch. It's got great lower lumbar support.
Thank you. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, exactly.
I was wondering what that was. I thought it was the microphone.
It's actually got a massage element, if you can see, you know, the shape of it.
We haven't found the button yet, but it's there.
Very nice.
Buddy, I've got to ask, because you're able to walk a line. You can be just so cheeky. And we need that from you. But that line seems to be very blurred these days. As a comedian, has it changed the way you kind of comment on the social standings, because the world feels polarized,
Yeah.
and all of us are affected by it now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what corner of the world you're in, we're all affected by
100%.
global politics, by what's going on. There are a lot more sacred cows.
Yeah, everyone's super sensitive.
But
Yeah.
this is it. Has it changed the way you roll?
No, not me. I think if you're a good enough comedian, you should be interrogating your material anyway.
Yes.
You should be very clear where you stand on any perspective. And if you're doing that, it means, for the most part, you're covered for yourself. You're not always going to get it 100% right, but you should be getting it 99% right most of the time. And I guess the other thing is, again, not everyone's going to laugh at everything.
Exactly.
So you have to assume that if you find it funny and you can give it a good enough reason, you've thought about it, you can back up why you're making that joke, then you're in good
Go all
shape.
in.
You
Then go all in,
Then you
yeah.
double down, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And then if you have to explain your way out, then you do. So for me, nothing much has changed other than to say I'm always very aware of those sensitivities and of the polarization. But I'm not the kind of comic who's out there to deliberately shock. I would rather be inclusive of an audience. I want everyone to have a great night out. You come to my shows, as you both know, you can bring your grandchildren, you can bring your grandparents. We want everyone there. We have a great night. I'm going to tease you. I'm going to push it a little bit. The envelope will get squashed a little bit and stretched out.
Made into a paper plane and thrown out the window
100%.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's it. But I'm not there to deliberately make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. In fact, you want people to feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's almost the
If that's
opposite.
what you do.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're saying, whenever it comes to a comedian, and, you got to be very clear on that line where you stand.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
you've
your
got to be
work at
able
home.
to-
That's your
Exactly.
preparation.
Listen, we want to come see your show.
You must.
I would love to come and see your show. I haven't seen it yet, but why should people come and see your show that haven't seen it? Look at the camera here.
All right, this
one over
camera here,
yes.
beautiful. Well, it's a delight. And listen, we're on till the 3rd of
Listen.
It's Monday to Saturday. There's laughs. We've also, and this is maybe the real reason, we've put an interval in the middle of the show. It's a free 20 minutes, okay? You can do with it what you want. And if you don't choose to use those minutes, we actually convert it into e-bucks and pay it into your account. I think that's true.
For petrol.
For petrol. Oh, I'm going to need petrol. Is this paying me to get home? Or do I stay here now?
No, stay.
Listen, come and see the show. It's great fun. It's 2 hours in which you can release from all the madness of the world. It's me on stage telling sillinesses and you in the audience having a good giggle.
Sillinesses.
I love
like
a
that.
good word.
It's a
That's
good
why
word.
you fit in here so well, the sillinesses.
All the sillinesses.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Listen, tickets at Web Tickets.
Yeah, that's right.
it. 180 to 280. Very affordable.
Very
which is great.
affordable, well priced.
Yeah, very well priced. Well done on that.
Cheap at the price. That's what they've said about me too often.
Alan Committee, you're a legend, my friend. Thank
Nice
you
to be
very
here.
much.
We love you, man.
Fast and reasonably furious.